Good afternoon. My name is Scott Rudd, the Chief Strategic Officer at T3Live.com. Welcome to today's recap and look ahead.
观众朋友们，大家好，欢迎收看今天的直击美股，我是主持人张舒，在纽约向您问好。周三美股涨跌互现，我们看到今天市场依然是非常的清淡，但是在下午美联储公布了4月份最新的会议纪要之后，市场似乎是找到了方向。这主要原因是由于联储在4月份的会议纪要中体现出了对6月加息的一个非常鹰派的一个论断，而在此前市场对于6月份加息的一个可能性的预测仅为16%，这是体现在联邦基金利率当中的。但是随着加息的可能性在上升，联邦基金利率在今天上涨到了27%，而一系列其他的资产类别也随着6月份加息可能性的增加而受到了不同程度的影响，其中包括了10年期以及2年期的国债利率是上涨到一个近期的新高，而包括像黄金和石油等大宗商品是受到了不同程度的打压。好的，更多消息让我们来看一下今天交易员的独家分析。Hi Scott, U.S. stocks came off session highs after the release of the Federal Reserve's April meeting minutes, and that's quite hawkish, and that definitely bring the June on the table. So how do you think about it?
Well, the market played with the neckline all day. 2004 in the S&P has been a big support. The market went below it, above it, below it, above it, because like you said, it was choppy and indecisive. The market knows what happened earlier in the year when they raised rates. We had a huge decline. Okay, the dollar went up and commodities got hit, and the market didn't feel so good about it. So we're not sure, can the market handle it this time with the hawkish minutes? There's a little indecision. So at this point, if you look at the chart of the SPX, you will see that when you're up against big resistance like we started to get to about a month ago and sell down, you never know what's next. And we've been watching this pattern, and this pattern has been pretty much being built for the course of the past 2 months, where the market hits resistance, earnings weren't great, it comes down, and the question is, does support hold? And for today, support held again. So we'll see what happens moving forward. You have a low in 2034. We'll see if that holds. And then at some point, if this downtrend here or descending channel gets taken out, maybe it goes again. But now we have to figure out what the next playbook is with a hawkish Fed.
And also, because of the Fed put the June rate hike on the table, banks benefit from it. And the financial sector just closed about 1.5% higher. So do you think, because of the expectation, in the following several weeks, the tape will change?
Well, you had a few things. Like that's now, okay, the hawkish playbook,
yeah,
which means dollar higher, maybe rates a little higher, means strengthen the banks. And this morning in the morning call, I talked about JP Morgan, right? They announced a dividend hike. I said, if JP Morgan ignites today, it's going to be hard for them to break the market down. And look what JP Morgan did today. Boom, right above its trigger that we talked about in my morning note. So we said if JP Morgan clears this pivot, it should create a little bit of momentum in the other banks. And now JP Morgan's almost back at the highs of the year. So this is your leader, and we'll see if there's some commitment to it to continue. You look at some of the other banks, they weren't as big of moves, but they ignited to the upside. So this is what's supposed to happen with the hawkish Fed. So at least the market did what should happen when the Fed talks about raising rates, which means some flows going into the banks, because the banks have been very weak, and now maybe they resume a little bit of their uptrend, or at least a trend from the lows.
But on the other hand, commodity got hit, and especially gold, which is more sensitive to a rate. So how do you think about these two commodities? Because before today, they are in quite good shape.
Right, they had a great year so far, great 2 quarters. So sometimes it changes, and the question is, will today's move lead to a bigger change? So we have to measure the action moving forward. So I talked about the choppiness in the GLD, and most people, once they heard the news, they said, okay, I'm going to sell. And they might even be short overnight, which makes a little bit of sense. And you look at the GLD right now, you will see that this upper flag type pattern broke to the downside. So when that happens, active traders get out of the way. Right here, we just lost the 8 and 21-day moving average. So if you look here, this flag pattern broke to the upside, and now this one back to the downside. So now we'll see what happens here, if it can hold or not. Plus, oil itself had a reversal. We talk about a red dog reversal. What could that lead to? Well, maybe this move back to 50 just expired as oil did close on the lows. So I think some guys might be short a little bit of oil. It is extended from the 8 and 21 day, and might even be long some of the reverse ETFs, which are actually short oil, like this DWTI that has come all the way down from the 400s to the 70s. So I think the trade might be changed a little bit where you're short commodities, long some banks, and you try and be a little very selective on tech. And now with the S&P moving forward, we're going to figure out if this 2040 level holds in the next day or so.
Okay, and also we got the breaking news from Tesla because this company just filed for $2 billion stock sale to back the Model 3. So how do you think about this stock because it's just plunged?
Well, long term, it's probably good. They needed the money, they need the facilities, they have to produce the cars because the demand is huge. But short term, as an active trader, it was just a dirty move. Goldman Sachs comes out, upgrades the stock, it goes up $7, $8, and then there's a secondary announced in the hole and it goes down $5. So any trader who's like, let me get involved in Goldman Sachs today, they just got bagged. Doesn't mean in a week or 2 weeks it could be higher from now, but for today's trade, you know what? I have a little sour taste in my mouth. But anyway, at this point, I feel like here is your support in Tesla. People have been waiting for the secondary to come out, so I would say some will probably be trying to be long this thing versus support, and we'll see how it acts tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, that's all we have for today.
Yes, and we'll have more tomorrow, so make sure to tune in because the volatility has picked up a bit.
好的，感谢您的收看，我们明天再见。